What would you do if you lost everything? And I mean absolutely everything. Your job, your family, your dignity, your hope. How far would you go to get it all back? Before you answer, let me tell you the story of David Matthews, a man who made a choice that would haunt him for eternity. I need you to understand something before we continue. This isn't just another creepy story. What I'm about to tell you happened in our world, in our time, to someone who could have been your neighbor, your friend, or even you. Remember that as we dive into this dark tale, David used to be like many of us, a loving father of 2 beautiful children, a devoted husband to his wife Sarah, and a hard-working middle manager at a respected company. He had a mortgage, a golden retriever named Max, and dreams of sending his kids to college someday. But life has a way of shattering our perfect pictures, doesn't it? It started with corporate downsizing. 20 years of loyalty ended with a cardboard box and a pitiful severance package. It's nothing personal, they said, but it felt personal when the bills started piling up, when Sarah's disappointed sighs grew longer, when his daughter stopped asking for bedtime stories because daddy was always busy looking for jobs. 6 months later, Sarah took the kids and moved in with her mother. "We need a break," she said, but David knew better. He saw it in her eyes. She had given up on him. The dog followed them, too. Even Max knew where the hope was. That's when David started hiking in the mountains outside town. Not for exercise or fresh air. No, he was looking for something else. Peace? An ending? He wasn't sure himself. But on a cold October evening, as the sun painted the sky in shades of blood and gold, he found something else entirely. The cave entrance looked ordinary enough, just another dark mouth in the mountainside. But something about it called to him. Maybe it was the unusual warmth emanating from within, or the way the shadows seemed to move against the wind. Whatever it was, it drew him in like a moth to flame. The deeper he went, the warmer it got. The air grew thick, almost syrupy, and filled with a sweet scent that reminded him of burning sugar and rotting flowers. That's when he heard it, a voice that seemed to come from everywhere and nowhere at once. "Your pain calls to me, David Matthews," it said, and the darkness itself seemed to coalesce into a shape. Not quite human, not quite animal, something in between and beyond both. Its eyes glowed like dying stars, and its smile, God, that smile haunts my nightmares still. The being called itself a facilitator of desires. It offered David everything he had lost and more. Wealth beyond imagination, the return of his family, respect, power, success. All it wanted in exchange was something David thought he had already lost, his soul. But what is a soul worth to a man who has nothing? The being asked, its voice like honey dripping over broken glass. What good is an eternal spirit when your children cry themselves to sleep in a stranger's house? David hesitated. Deep in his heart, a voice screamed at him to run, to never look back. But then he remembered Sarah's face when she left, his daughter's tears, his son's confusion. He remembered the shame of selling his wedding ring to pay the electric bill. "I accept," he whispered, and the cave seemed to inhale his words. The change was immediate and dramatic. The next morning, David received a call about an inheritance from an uncle he'd never known existed. By the end of the week, he had more money than he'd ever dreamed of. Within a month, he owned a successful company. 2 months later, Sarah called, asking to talk. Everything he had lost came flooding back, and more. His new house made his old one look like a shed. His children had everything they could want. Sarah smiled at him like she used to, maybe even brighter, but something was wrong. It started small. Food had no taste. Music had no melody. His children's laughter sounded hollow. When Sarah kissed him, he felt nothing. When his son won his first baseball game, the pride he should have felt was just absent. He began to understand what he had truly lost. His soul wasn't just some spiritual concept. It was his ability to feel, to love, to care. He could smile, but never feel joy. He could frown, but never feel sadness. He was a perfect machine of success, devoid of everything that made him human. Wealth became meaningless. Success turned to ashes in his mouth. He watched his children grow, but couldn't feel the love he knew he should have for them. Sarah's touch felt like plastic against his skin. The world had become a gray, empty stage where he merely went through the motions of living. In desperation, he returned to the cave, begging the being to take back its gifts and return his soul. The creature's laughter echoed through the mountains like breaking glass. "A deal is a deal, David Matthews," it said. "Besides, look at all you have now. Isn't this what you wanted?" David looked at his expensive watch, his designer clothes, his luxury car waiting outside the cave. Then he looked into a small puddle on the cave floor and saw his reflection, empty eyes staring back at him from a face that hadn't aged a day since their deal. That night, David disappeared. He left everything behind: the money, the house, the company, even his family. Some say he went mad, wandering the mountains, searching for his lost soul. Others say he found a way to break the deal, but at a terrible price. All I know is this: sometimes, on cold October evenings, hikers report hearing a voice in those mountains, warning them about a cave where dreams come true, but only if you're willing to pay the ultimate price. If you've made it this far, I have a question for you. What would you do if you were in David's position? Would you make the same choice? Let me know in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this tale of supernatural horror and human desperation, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to our channel for more chilling stories. Remember to turn on notifications so you don't miss our next upload. Until then, sleep tight and be careful what you wish for.